Alright everyone, I'm sure you all know about the Neroyan Lumarian War upcoming, and I want to tell everyone who gathers here today two things. The first thing is, thank you. Thank you for all of the support you've given and provided to get Lumaria this far. And the second thing I'd like to say is, we are going to be alright. This war will not end Lumaria, because even before our country, US Lumarian men will rise and rebuild and revolt. No matter the start, the end, or the middle, we're going to be fine. I would give an honest thank you to my closest ally, Curtis, for this wonderful journey, because I've seen the end before. I've seen the pot of gold, and one day, we will go to that pot of gold and rest. Us Lumarians will rise. Now we must discuss 3 extra things before we go. First is that we will be moving our mainland. After tons of discussions with the governor, I believe it would be a greater but more dangerous place. Countries such as Hoveria would want to get it. But although the loss of our men during World War VI, we are finding a better option as we speak. The second thing to say is that we will be remaking our government system, making our own beliefs and overall making Lumaria stand out in the crowd. And the third thing is, a new election will take place. I will go up against Coca-Cola in the election. It will start Friday morning and end at 3:30 p.m. Now, in conclusion, we will be safe once more, and we will come stronger than ever. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next time.
Alright everyone, listen up. I'm sure you all just heard Spritey's speech about the upcoming Neroyan Lumarian War. And I want to be very clear with you today, because Lumaria deserves honesty, not comfort lies. I'm not here to hype you up, I'm here to tell you the truth. Spritey says we're gonna be alright, but hope does not stop bombs. And speeches do not stop enemies. Blind optimism is exactly how nations fall. Let me say this first. I respect the people of Lumaria. I respect the soldiers, the workers, the families who've already lost people in World War VI, but I do not respect leadership that gambles with your lives. Spritey talks about moving our mainland into a more dangerous position, knowing full well countries like Hoveria would want it. That's not bravery, that's recklessness. You don't rebuild a wounded nation by throwing it back into the fire and hoping it survives again. Spritey wants to remake the government during a crisis. Change beliefs, change systems, change everything while a war is approaching. Ask yourselves this. When has tearing everything apart in the middle of chaos ever ended well? Lumaria doesn't need experiments. Lumaria needs control, stability, and strength. Now let me tell you what I will do. First, I will secure Lumaria before anything else. No mainland relocation until our borders are defended and our enemies think twice about touching us. Second, I will rebuild the government with structure and authority, not vague ideals and promises. A government that works quietly, efficiently, and without hesitation. Third, I will prepare us for a long war if needed, stronger defenses, tighter command, and decisions made fast, not debated while people die. Spritey thanks allies and talks about pots of gold. I'm not chasing fairy tales. I'm making sure Lumaria survives, even if the choices aren't pretty. Safety isn't always loud, power isn't always kind, but it lasts. This election isn't about who gives the better speech. It's about who is willing to do what's necessary when things get dark. Spritey wants you to believe everything will work out. I want to make sure it does by force if needed. On Friday, you choose the future of Lumaria. Comfort or control, hope or certainty. Vote Coca-Cola, and Lumaria will never be weak again.
Welcome, citizens of Lumaria. Tonight, President Spritey and Challenger Coca-Cola will debate the future of our nation. Let's begin. President Spritey, you have the first statement.
Thank you, citizens of Lumaria. We are facing war, uncertainty, and change, but what we must not face is tyranny. My opponent talks about control and authority, and Lumaria has seen where that road leads before. I believe in strength through unity, not fear.
Interesting choice of words. Fear is what keeps nations alive, Spritey. Denying that doesn't make you noble, it makes you careless.
Careless? You openly argue for centralized power, delayed elections in crisis, and force if needed. That's not leadership, Coke. That's the language of a dictator.
Dictator is such an overused word.
Then answer this plainly. Would you limit the people's freedoms if you believed it would make Lumaria safer?
I would do whatever is required to ensure Lumaria's survival.
That wasn't a yes or no.
Fine, yes. If freedom threatens stability, then freedom becomes a weakness.
There it is. Lumarea, listen to him. He sees you as variables to be managed, not people to be protected.
And you see them as symbols for speeches. You tell them they'll rise again while pushing them into another disaster. At least I'm honest about the cost.
Honest? You talk about rebuilding the government quietly and without hesitation. That sounds a lot like removing opposition.
Opposition slows progress.
Coke, say that again.
I said opposition slows progress. In war, delay kills more people than bad decisions.
So anyone who disagrees with you is a threat?
Anyone who endangers Lumaria is a threat.
And who decides that? You?
Someone has to.
Lumaria doesn't need a ruler who thinks he alone knows what's best. We need trust, resilience, and a nation that survives without losing its soul.
Souls don't stop invasions, Spritey. Power does.
All right, moving on.
No, let the people hear this. Coca-Cola isn't promising safety, he's promising control. And once you give that up, you don't get it back.
History favors the ones willing to make hard choices. If Lumaria survives under me, they'll forgive how...
That concludes tonight's debate.
Are we, like, dead?
Nah, gang, you in my realm now.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm the boss now. They call me the evil guy.
Ah!
Why are you screaming?
You're evil!
Just because my name is the evil guy doesn't mean I'm evil.
Doesn't that exactly mean you're evil?
I mean, yeah.
Aha! We were right. Wait. I'm right? Ah!
A few moments later.
Shit! Now what?